Hi everyone, so this is a super unplanned vlog, but I just want to express or want to share a story, but probably it's not worth writing on the gentle roadmap because it's just me sharing my experience here. Probably some parts of it will be transferred later to an article posted sometime this month or the next on the gentle roadmap, but for now I just enjoy talking on a blog. So as I posted earlier on my Instagram story, it was snowing this morning. I didn't witness it, but when I woke up, the temperature sensor, so I've been keeping this temperature and humidity sensor in my bedroom, showed 11 point something, so I know, oh, something was up. And then my blind was still closed, so I walked to the kitchen and opened the window, and oh, lo and behold, snowing. Not snowing, it was already there on the ground. And yeah, poor apple tree. And so yeah, how do I dress then? Well, my house is always colder than what I'd like. More about that later. So at home I usually wear this fleece jacket, and well, now I wear 4 layers in total. So this jacket, this knitted dress, knitwear dress, and inside I wear an inner layer. The inner layer I bought at Shopee, to be honest, before I left for Edinburgh in 2022. So it's quite a steal because somehow the material is not too thick, but the sewing method, I don't know what the word is, doesn't provide bigger or like wider holes or space in between the knit, the thread, so that it keeps the body heat inside. And because my body is not so good at thermoregulation, that is a great help actually. And of course my inner layer is a tank top, a cotton or a mixed one. For my feet, I wear 2.3 TOG or TOG socks. I bought a heat holder. So TOG is the measure of the thickness for the things that are supposed to give you warmth, be it like duvet or socks, jacket probably, I don't know. Yeah. Now I'm going to talk about the Raynaud and chilblains because this is related to the coldness in my house, the outside temperature, and why I wear such different layers. And the outside temperature, I think last time I checked, I think 1 or 2 hours ago, was 4 or 3 degrees, but I think it can go further lower into 0, probably not even sub-zero. Sub-zero is forecasted for sometime this week. Anyway, so I've got Raynaud's, right? Raynaud's and chilblains. And for those who don't know what Raynaud's is, it's a type of autoimmunity where the blood vessels at the extremities, that is your fingers, toes, sometimes nose, sometimes some people on their nipples as well, constrict at the response of the cold, and the blood flows back to the core. The core is to warm your lungs, your heart, the gut, the stomach, and everything inside, because that's essential for survival. Well, that's the pathway, the pathological pathway for Raynaud's, basically. That explains why the blood vessels why your fingers turning blue or white, because the blood leaves the blood vessels there and rushing back to warm the core, your body core. And when it develops into chilblains is when the temperature on your extremities warm up again, so the blood vessels open, and it's called the open as in the channels, as a channel it's open again, so the red blood cells, probably the plasma as well, can flow there again. And the phenomenon is called the vasodilation, or dilation. From the dilation word, it's vaso, the vascular, and dilation, so it opens. So vasoconstriction describes the phenomenon where the blood rushes back to your body, while the vasodilation explains where the blood flows back to your extremities. And this vasodilation happens rather quickly, so that the blood vessels might burst open, and so the red blood cells and the plasma just oozes out of the blood vessels and then fill in the spaces between the cells, making the fingers relatively swollen like this. If you can compare the left and the right hand of mine, it's called the sausage fingers as well, because it's red, angry, and swollen, as opposed to the normal hand. That also happens in my toes, and during the vasoconstriction and vasodilation cycles that happen throughout the days, the skin might rupture, making open wounds like that, because there is no nutrition sent by the blood through the vessels to these extremities, or making the skin is more prone to injury, such as if you can see my toes got bruised, blue, and sometimes wounded earlier this year during the winter. That was because the toes, in addition to not receiving enough nutrient from the blood or carried by the blood, these little puppies just got into collision with the inner walls of the shoes I wore. So like it probably didn't feel that much, because your toes eventually, or not eventually, your toes will always bump into the walls of the inner wall, the inner lining of your shoes anyway, right? When you are walking. But it actually became too much to the skin, so it would eventually bruise. Right now I have got some red spots already on my toes. I don't know whether they would develop into bruising later on, but I'm trying my best to prevent that from worsening. And the tricks that I read from various articles, also from Reddit, on the Raynaud subreddit, and autoimmunity or Sjogren syndrome, is basically just to keep your fingers and your toes warm. And you can achieve this by various means, such as wearing gloves even at home. Of course, I wear gloves outside, ski gloves, a pair of ski gloves, so thick. And at home I wear these thick socks, and with my slippers as well. So not just slippers nowadays, but slippers and socks, because as the temperature got colder, that I have already been prepared. Sometimes I feel frozen as well, or like the ASMR, like the chill on your scalp, like crawling feeling on your scalp if it's too cold. So that's actually my internal signal if the ambient temperature is too cold, hence I need to do something. But thankfully these days I could manage it either with the heating on or even with the heating off. I make sure my body is well covered, so the freezing came rather rarely. Hopefully it keeps that way throughout the winter. About the flat heating, so my flat is near city center with affordable rent, very affordable. Everything with it is within walking distance. What's the catch? It's an old building, a granite building, so the heating is not well sustained, so there is heat loss which I can't really prevent. It's either you need to withstand the cold whatsoever, or you just need to splash on some more money to compensate for the heating. I'd rather try to see if I run my heating normally, as in timed twice a day, 2 hours in each cycle. I would see whether I could survive the winter time like that, or I need to increase the heating. Heating is from gas, so it's relatively cheaper than electricity generated heating, but probably I should increase the heating as well. In the modern or newer houses, there are usually the central thermostat heating. It means that the thermostat is set at a temperature set point rather than individual TRV or thermal regulation valve or something like that equipped on each radiator. So for example, in my bedroom, the radiator has the valve with the numbers on the dial, so from 1 to 5 or from 0 to 5 or 0 to 4. Basically the valve controls the opening of the water, the heat, the hot water flowing through the radiator, so that it will adjust the set temperature there. So it's not saying temperature like 20 or 17 or 16, but it sets based on this setting number 3 or number 2 on the opening and the closing of the inlet, the water inlet to the radiator. Speaking about the heat loss, well, I attended training from the Scottish government, if I recall correctly, and I read a lot on the energy performance certificate, and also some tips and tricks to keep the heat in your house without very significant loss. The problem with the old buildings, especially the granite ones, is the wall insulation. So if you think that, oh, probably because it needs the double glazed window, yes, double glazed window is important. So if you don't know what a double glazed window is, it's creating a phenomenon of the vacuum insulation. So you know that heat transfers through 3 methods, right? Radiation, convection, conduction. Radiation is like the solar radiation. Convection is like when you boil the water and then the heat traverses through all the water particles and water molecules, and then conduction is through the solid metal, for example. But you can create a vacuum between 2 surfaces to prevent the heat from transferring out or in, right? That's the idea of the double glazed window. So two glass sheets, two windows basically, and in between there is either vacuum, or the newest method is like gas. I forgot the gas name, the gas element name, to fill in the space so that it provides better insulation, so that the heat inside the room will not escape to the outside, because heat will transfer from the higher temperature to the lower temperature, right? And if it's hot outside, say in the summer, the room will still feel comfortable, because the heat will not just get into the space between the two glass sheets. But double glazed window only contributes to, basically it's less significant to the heat loss or heat escaping from the walls. And if you're familiar with the crawl space or the suspended floor, luckily my floor is suspended, but since it's an old building, the wooden floor panels are not tightly joined with each other. So okay, crawl space is a space so that your floor doesn't touch the ground directly, doesn't touch the foundation on the ground, in the ground directly. If you come from a tropical country, say like my country of origin in Indonesia, it's a tropical country, and if it's too hot, people like to sleep on the mattress to be laid on top of a like some small carpet like that, but on the floor tiles directly, because the floor tiles are cold, so you will feel it's more comfortable to sleep rather than warmer or hotter if you put your mattress on a bed frame. The opposite happens here, so you want your mattress to be as far as possible from the ground, because the ground is cold. I'm on the ground floor, so yeah, this crawl space that is provided for plumbing, for the pipes, electricity cables, everything that I don't really know, is supposedly providing some insulation by the air, so that the cold doesn't seep through the wooden floor panels directly to my room. But the thing is, the wooden floor panels have gaps, because it's an old building. The floor likely needs a good surface on that. Yeah, so the cold from the ground just seeps into my room, or probably the other way around. The heat generated from the radiator seeps into the gaps to the ground, so it's not that warm anyway in the room. What else? Yeah, and the holes, might be the micro holes, the chimney, because there's still a chimney, the fireplace, but it's already like boarded up, so I don't want to light firewood anyway in my house, because I'm afraid of fire. I can't control fire, so I leave it at the gas radiators to warm me up. I used to live in a student accommodation in Edinburgh in 2022 until 2023. It has a very good energy rating, because it's a not brand new, but it's a newly built, newly renovated, and it's an HMO, or housing with multiple occupations. So there are lots of people generating body heat, and also with the fire doors, as the requirements of the HMO, fire doors can do a very good job in keeping the heat inside, trapping the heat inside. So when you cook, the heat doesn't escape it through the bottom, because that's the function of the fire door. If there is fire in the kitchen, then it will not come out. So yeah, even though it was also on the ground floor, my flat was in Edinburgh, I didn't feel it as cold as here now, but especially now I'm in Aberdeen. But yeah, that's all about it. It's just me sharing my experience with renting, with the old building, with navigating life in the so-called winter time, because technically it's still autumn, but we've got the Arctic air coming in to the UK, and the northern part of Scotland obviously got snow. With Raynaud, with chilblains, with autoimmunity. So it's not something that you can evade. People with autoimmunity may develop symptoms very specific to their situation. So yeah, of course, now I'm in Scotland, so the symptoms are cold related, for example, with Raynaud's and chilblains. But if I were in Jakarta like last year, with pollution, air pollution, I got high fever. I was rushing myself to the emergency department. I got different hormonal imbalance symptoms. But yeah, what can we do, right? It's just making the best of our situation, listening to our bodies, and keep working as usual. But we know the limits of our bodies. If we want to take some rest, then take some rest by all means. Or if we can tolerate something better, then yeah, by all means try to challenge your limits. But of course, make sure that you address the basic needs, your nutrition, your rest, your stress level, your exercise, your religious or faith-based practice, your social relationships as well with the people. And if you know anybody in the vulnerable situation, probably the elderly, just check in on them. If it's cold like this, or you just say hi to your family members, your friends. Just make sure that we take care of each other in the way we can. And that's all the vlog for today. This is the first time I speak for a longer time in a video. I would probably upload it to a YouTube later with very minimum editing, because I don't like video editing. And yeah, that's all, and see you. Cheers. Bye bye.